all seems to be so light. So it's very refreshing to hear words and to remind that the success that a person or a nation can have is built upon the poverty and the misery of other human beings. So
before you go, if I may.
Yes, of course.
I would like to tell you a little story. I am a storyteller, so why not tell you a story? We are now on a book fair, and we think that on a book fair the most important thing is the written word. That's true. But I think maybe it's also important for us to remember that there are so many ways that we can communicate in life. And I would like to tell you, I guess it's a wonderful and funny story. It's something that happened to me in Africa. There is a small island outside of, there is a sound here, I don't know what it is. It is a sound here that I have in my ear.
The humming of the people outside.
Okay, no, it is something, okay. Anyhow, there is a small island outside of Maputo, the capital in Mozambique, where I spend a lot of my life, a lot of my time. And once I came to that island to stay a couple of days. And I was living in a small bungalow at the sea. At night, I heard drumming far away, and I could see fires, bonfires far away. And I know there was a small village there. So I went to that village, and when I came to the village, I understood that there was a sort of festivitas, a ceremony. The men were drumming, and the women were dancing. And I sat down and I saw what they were doing, and I thought, I should introduce myself. I should tell these people, who am I? So when there was a small interval, I spoke to a very old woman. She must have been some 1,000 years old. She had that specific beauty in her face that you only can find in the faces of old women. I don't know if you have thought about that, but sometimes you can find an old woman that had such a face where you can see all of her life in the face. And she was such a woman. And I told her I would like to present myself and to say why I am here. And she said, yes. So very rapidly, all the people of the village were placed like you are, and I was here. So I started in Portuguese to tell the people who I am. And I hardly had said many words until that old woman said, And then she said something that I will never forget as long as I live. She said, if you really, from the bottom of your heart, would like to tell us who you are, you have to dance. Well, it was a bit of a problematic situation. I have never looked upon myself as any kind of Michael Jackson or whatever. But I didn't know what to do. I mean, I couldn't leave. I had to do something. So, out of desperation, I managed to do some movement, and the women were gasping. And then I stopped as quickly as possible, and then it was a complete silence. And then that old woman said something that was wonderful. She said, well, after having seen you dance, we cannot, even in our wildest imagination, understand who you are or where you come from. But, she said, that is probably our limitation. Now, this is a wonderful story, because it tells us that there are so many ways that we can express a dialogue with other people. The word from my mouth into your ear, the written word into your eyes. There are only 2 languages. We have so many other languages. And for these people, the movement of the body was absolutely the most important language. I always remember this story because it reminds me that we people, we have so many languages that we have to take care of. So that is what the story I wanted to tell you. Now, the only thing I can offer you is my words and my stories. And I can assure you that if you like my stories, please go home and tell it to other people. You do not have to pay me. You get them for free. So this is the opening night. You get all the stories, you can do whatever you want with them. That's it.
But you have another very, very funny story.